Owl. And tonight I'm going to tell you a magical Christmas story called How the Skunk Got Her Stink and How the Rhino Got His Horn.
Yes, that's how it works. Is that how it works? And don't give your little faces at me.
Like many Christmas stories, this story begins in December when a bright star magically appeared in the sky. What you may never have heard is that at the same time, a shadowy purple budding flower also appeared on the earth.
And it was a stinky flower.
It was a stinky flower.
Don't give it away, don't give it away. It was on that particular day that Skunk caught a cold. Achoo! 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 Or maybe he was allergic, we don't know for sure, but I was flying back to my tree when I saw her achoo! Achoo! Her nose bright red. I know what you're thinking, a Christmas story with a red-nosed animal. Oh, how original. Well, it's just what happened to me. She obviously couldn't smell, because unlike all the other animals who avoided the purple flower because of its stench, she walked right up to it and took a bite out of it.
Oh no, run!
Do, 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 do.
Do, do, do. Do, do.
It cleared her nose right up. Its powerful chemical composition dimmed her sight, though, to the point that she nearly ran into a giant rhino.
Whoa!
He was grumpy. She tried to eat his grass.
Get off my grass and bug off.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I really
Ah!
Gosh.
Say, oh, did you just
Fart?
Did you just fart?
Yes.
You mean sneeze and fart? I think I might have. Well, the smelled so horrible it started stinging the rhino's eyes, and he ran away. He ran right into a giant boswellia tree. So hard that the tree yelped, ouch! And some of its sap came pouring out onto Rhino's now banged up snout, stopping it from bleeding.
Go!
Watch where you're going, said the boswellia tree. Say, I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
but it's all the skunk's fault.
It's all the skunk's fault. Everything is all going wrong.
Well, the name is Zoroaster, and ouch, your bone is sticking out of your snout. You poor thing, come here. Luckily for you, I've been working on this resinous sap for quite some time. It is healing. It will heal that wound on your nose and cover up that awful stench on your body. It will even heal your grumps, which I'm sure you had before you met Skunk.
Yes, and this tree is giving me the grumps.
And it did heal Rhino's skin, although his bones stayed sticking out the top of his snout. He did not mind, however. He now had a secret weapon, and all the other animals gave him extra space in the field so that he would not poke them with it.
And up first the skunk.
Meanwhile, Skunk told her friends about how she scared away the grumpy rhino and got to eat all the grass in the field. And they all started eating purple flowers. Achoo! And farting on big grumpy animals so that they could get all the grass. Eventually, Skunk and Rhino ran into each other again.
Hey!
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 But they weren't mad at each other. They thanked each other. Thank you!
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
And neither one supported or poked. They just grazed together peacefully.
Yes, peacefully.
I flew onto my branch on the top of Zoroaster, the tree, and watched as three not-so-wise men, Mo, Curly,
Larry.
and Larry, walked up, pulling their camels along and arguing all the time. I listened to them argue, and I learned they were very rich with gold. Their mothers and fathers had sent them out into the world with only gold, which they were always spending in stupid ways and hitting each other for it. Oh, that was so dumb! I can't believe you did that! The worst thing they did was fashion sticks to hit each other with. The best thing they did with the gold was fashion helmets to protect their heads from each other's hits. but they were very hungry and lost. We must look for food. We could catch one of those animals over there. Huh? Huh? Let's go after the little one. Yeah. Do, 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 do. They each ran from a different direction and closed in on Skunk.
Uh-oh.
Achoo! Who of course farted, causing him to panic and run blindly right into the boswellia tree.
Oh no! Stinky, stinky
Zoroaster.
flowers.
No.
My name is Zoroaster, said the tree. And thank you for healing my wounds with this soft gold. Oh yes, because they had their helmets on. Otherwise, they probably would have had a horn, just like the rhino sticking out of their head. But gold is soft and
Sticking his butt
valuable,
out
and
there.
some of them got on the tree and closed up his wounds. This gold shall help protect me from those rhinos who keep running into me. In return, you may take some of my sap, but only after hearing my teachings of wisdom, or I'm sure to become a monstrous Frankenstein of a tree.
Let's see what's next.
The essence of truth arises from the primordial nature of existence. Wield this as your tool as a king of lands. He or she is a true king who loves those whom he or she serves. So use your sticks only for walking in defense, not for each other's heads.
Wow, this is getting really difficult.
Do not hold goods waiting for higher prices when others are hungry. Had Rhino known this, he never would have had gotten sprayed by Skunk. Happiness comes to he or she who brings happiness to others. In seeing the happiness brought to rhinos from their new horns, I too was happy, even though it kind of hurt.
Yes, oh yes, oh yes. Oh, iguana, because Hercules has an iguana.
Oh yeah, because Huxley's an iguana.
A knife of the keenest metal requires
Oh,
the
iguana.
whetstone, and the wisest man needs advice. Even though I consider myself wise, this gold gift from your helmets has saved me. And lastly, what I hold good for self, I should for all.
La la la, dun 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 dun.
A righteous government is of all the most to be wished for, bearing of blessing and good fortune in the highest, guided by the law of truth, supported by dedication and zeal, it blossoms into the best of order, a kingdom of heaven. To effect this, I shall work now and evermore. He continued as he dropped some fresh golden cuttings of his into the men's hands. He who sows the ground with care and diligence acquires a greater stock of religious merit than he could gain by repetition of 10,000 prayers.
10,000 pairs, 10,000 pairs, 10,000 pairs.
I would like you to share these messages and carry these healing resins to the place where the brightest star stops rising, for it is in that spot you will find a new king and savior. With this knowledge, I shall now rename you 3 wise men, Balthazar, Melchior, and Gaspar. So the 3 wise men fashioned a cup with their gold and collected the good-smelling sap of the boswellia tree, called frankincense, and the new golden cuttings, called myrrh, learning of self-sacrifice, compassion, forgiveness, and joy. They returned to Skunk to thank her and Rhino. Do. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Skunk and Rhino asked, say maybe follow me.
Maybe fiery.
We want to meet the new king. We
We
want to meet the new king. We
King.
promise we won't so fart on him. Say, or poke him.
or poke him.
So the 3 wise men, remembering Zoroaster's words, allowed Rhino and Skunk to join them and crowned them each with gold. Yay! We're kings too.
Yes, Cranberry Rock Cakes.
And we all know this part. The 3 wise men and their camel, the skunk and the rhino, visit Mary and Joseph after the birth of their son Jesus. They share the gifts of frankincense, myrrh, and gold and bless the new child as the Savior and King of Kings. But what you may not know is that after that night, Skunk and Rhino followed another path toward great northern lights that appeared in the sky.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow, they're so colorful! Let's follow them!
Oh,
Yay! Achoo! Woo! Excuse me.
that's gross.
And they playfully dashed through the snow, farting and poking all the way, replanting the seeds of purple flowers, myrrh, and boswellia, making fun trouble for a new northern animal, the reindeer.
Huh? Wow. Who knew that this rhino and this skunk were so entrenched in Christmas?
Alright.
Nobody.
Season.
That's why we had to tell this story.
Now let's
Okay.
play.
One deer ate so much of the thorny myrrh plant that he grew horns from his head.
It's Green Dolph.
And he sparred with Rhino. And they invented a new reindeer gaze. This is so fun. Woo. Another deer was sprayed by Skunk
Oh no!
right after he had eaten a fresh batch of
Soft farting flowers.
purple flowers. Where is he? Oh, here he is. Hi! Oh my gosh! Oh, that stinks! It stunk so bad that his nose turned bright red and started glowing. But the worst part was he smelled so bad that as soon as he tried to go play with his friends, they all ran away. Oh my god, he smells! Oh, get away from him! And the poor guy, he thought it was just because he had a red nose. But once he took a bath, the other reindeer let him back in.
Yeah.
But he still had a red nose, you know.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
know, you
That's his red nose.
You know?
Skunk and Rhino and a new group of reindeer friends ran into a group of traveling Eskimos along the way. Among them were a couple arguing as much as the three wise men had been.
And that would not be good. No, it would not be.
Dip, dip, dip.
Hi!
I lost my hat. Their names were Chris. Their names were Nicholas Claus and Christy Kringle. And they had great huskies pulling their sleigh. But Christy started getting allergic to them and sneezing. Achoo! And on top of that, she was very pregnant.
Oh no,
They
she
find-
sneezed out a baby.
They finally admitted that it was too risky for Christy to keep traveling with the dogs, and they left the dogs with some good friends, along with a sleigh full of toys Nick and Christy had made, in return for cookies and hot cocoa for their journey to the Northern Lights. The children loved the gifts, and it brought the couple such joy to see the children's happiness. That is when they saw the strange new travelers, Skunk, Rhino,
Oink, oink.
and the 9 reindeer. They asked them and Rudolph, with his nose so bright, to guide their sleigh tonight,
Oh, let's see more. Thanks.
since they didn't have any dogs to pull the sleigh anymore.
Dun, 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 dun,
And it was then that Skunk departed, and the reindeers flew from the smell up into the air, pulling the sleigh all the way to the Northern Lights. Woo! We made it here! Yay! This is magical. Nick and Christy got
Stinky
married
flowers.
and became Santa and Mrs. Santa Claus, and it was there in the shelter built by Nick and the animals that Christy delivered their 6 children. Yes, 6 tuplets, and began their toy-making business. Skunk and Rhino continued to live in the North Pole with the Clauses. And if you'll notice, there is an abundance of weird animals with horns in the North Pole, like the narwhal and the
Get out of the way
unicorn.
of your
Oh,
puppet
yeah.
show.
And to answer
This
your
is your
questions-
show. Have some pride in
Yes,
it.
that is because of Skunk and Rhino.
This is your poop.
That's yours.
And then you take a shower in it.
Ew.
Nick and
Go
Christy
shower.
and their children and their children's children continue to make toys and lights once a year and travel across the world to share their joys with all. They even made lights for my tree Zoroaster so that we can experience the magic of the Northern Lights and the beautiful creations of the
Zoroaster.
Clauses once a year. And Rhino and Skunk always ride along.
Yay!
Woo!
That's how Rhino and Skunk, that's owl and Skunk.
We hope you enjoyed the story, and remember, if you can, to leave out a purple flower and some frankincense and myrrh with your cookies and cocoa this Christmas for Skunk and Rhino.
Yeah. It's Green Dolph the pig-nosed reindeer.
Here's Christy's hat! Yay!
Should I bring out the frankincense and myrrh?
Is this Green
Yes.
Dolph?